Rizwan Roha.
Hi, I'm Aina Shahira.
Hi, my name is Nadia.
Hi, my name is Fatin. Today we are going to present about the unemployment and inflation in United Kingdom, as United Kingdom is one of the largest economy in the world. So without further ado, let's get into the introductions of United Kingdom.
United Kingdom.
The United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, commonly known as the United Kingdom of Britain, is a sovereign country located off the northwestern coast of the European mainland. The United Kingdom has a partly regulated market economy. The economy is defined as a social domain that emphasizes the practice, discourse, and material expression associated with the production, use, and management of resources. The economy of the United Kingdom has slowly been climbing the ranks of the mostly free for the past decade. The economy of the United Kingdom is a highly developed social market and market-oriented economy. It is the fifth largest national economy in the world measured by nominal gross domestic product (GDP). This country continues to have the fifth largest GDP in the world after the US, China, Japan, and Germany. The UK economy more growth in the north. You don't have to be in London to be successful in the UK. In fact, more new businesses are founded in the north in areas such as Manchester than any other area in the UK. In the 18th century, United Kingdom was the first country to do industrialize. While during the 19th century, it had a dominant role in the global economy, accounting for 9.1% of the world's GDP in year 1870. The Second Industrial Revolution was also taking place rapidly in the United States and the German Empire. This presented an increasing economic challenge for the UK. The cost of fighting World War I and World War II further weakened the UK's relative position. In the 21st century, the UK retains the ability to project power and influence around the world.
Inflation.
Inflation can be defined as a continuous increase in the general price level of goods and services in the economy. Inflation in United Kingdom. The United Kingdom has a market economy that is partly regulated. The United Kingdom is the world's fifth largest economy and the second largest after Germany in continental Europe. Commenting about the economy, what can be linked is inflation. Inflation is the increase in prices for most goods and services. Prices for most of these items should rise and continue for a long time to say that inflation has taken place in a country's economy because not all increases are inflation related. In the United Kingdom, transport 16% of the total weight and leisure culture are the most relevant groups in the consumer price index, 15%. Housing, water, electricity, gas, and other fuels make up 13%, 12% for restaurants and hotels, and 10% for food and non-alcoholic beverages. The index also covers various products and services, 9%, clothing and footwear, 7%, furniture, household appliances, and repair, 9%, 6%, food contact, and education account for the remaining 11% of the overall weight of alcohol, drinks, and tobacco. But inflation often occurs unexpectedly due to the effects of unemployment, a decline in the value of the currency, and political instability. The government plays an important role in ensuring that prices are always stable so that inflation can be controlled.
Issue of inflation. In 2011, the inflation rate in United Kingdom has declined until 2015. Then, from 2015, the inflation rate in United Kingdom has increased until 2017 and is starting to decline until 2019. Causes of inflation. The first one is demand pull inflation. A booming economy or an economy that is close to the end of the economic cycle is synonymous with demand pull inflation. Based on the above picture, the UK experienced rapid economic growth towards the end of 1980s. This 4 to 5% growth a year was slightly higher than the long-term average rate of economic growth in the UK. This excessive economic growth resulted in 8% demand pull inflation. The Lawson boom of the late 1980s. Based on the diagram above, UK economic growth was well above the long-term average rate of 2.5% between 1985 to 1988. Inflation had risen to 9.5% by 1990. A textbook example of a boom and bust economic cycle was the Lawson boom of the late 1980s. The late 1980s were a period of fast economic development. This was attributed to rising house prices, cuts in taxes, lower interest rates, and a high level of confidence. However, an increase in inflation and a greater current account deficit were caused by the boom. The second one is cost-push inflation. Cost-push inflation refers to an increase in the general price level associated with an increase in the cost of production. Based on the diagram above, in 2011, CPI inflation reached 5%. However, if we exclude the impact of taxes, the inflation was 3%. If the effects of higher product costs from depreciation were not omitted, inflation may have been much lower. Wage-push inflation. Wage-push inflation occurs due to an increase in the wage level, which will lead to an increase in the cost of production and the output price. Since the government said it will lift the official minimum wage, almost 3 million employees in the United Kingdom are scheduled to earn a salary rise of more than 4 times the rate of inflation as of April. Profit-push inflation. Profit-push inflation occurs when certain producers or monopolies stock up on goods and create an artificial shortage which will increase the price on these goods, thereby giving them higher profits. Import-push inflation. Import-push inflation occurs when the prices of imported raw materials or finished goods increase. This may be due to the fluctuation of the foreign exchange rate. This will lead to an increase in production costs and eventually an increase in the price of the outputs.
Effects of inflation. A continuous rising price level of goods and services has impacted the consumer's income and expenditure pattern as the money value has fallen and lesser goods can be purchased. First, distribution of income. Inflation alters the current pattern of income and wealth distribution in society, where certain groups are considerably better off than others. This shows in the diagrams the top of income earners earn over £100,000 even though after tax and benefits this fell to £73,682, while the poorest of income earners earn £3,738. After tax and benefits, this rose to £12,050. Second is savings. Inflation have depreciated the value of fixed deposits, bonds, life insurance policies, and money in terms of real income. Since inflation depreciates fixed deposit values, individuals will save less and invest in non-financial sectors. In 2017, a significant fall in the UK saving ratio to a record low been caused by a fall in real wages. Thus, depreciation in sterling post-Brexit have pushed up cost of living and contributing to fall in real wages. To maintain spending, consumers have borrowed and dipped into savings. Third is production. The general level of prices rises so producers will make a higher profit that lead them to increase their level of production and investment. Thus, will create more job opportunities and reduce unemployment. Balance of trade. The United Kingdom's trade balance has been in deficit since 1998 due to trade deficits in goods which are partially offset by trade surpluses in services. The overall level of UK trade in goods as a proportion of total trade in goods and services has been declining gradually since 1986, at a peak of 75% in 1985. Export fell to GBP 47.99 billion, led by a decline in goods shipment and a drop in services exports. Meantime, import rose to GBP 49.72 billion as increase in purchases of goods partly offset a decline in acquisition of services.
Measures to control inflation. The first one is fiscal policy. Taxes, such as income tax and VAT, and cutting spending can be achieved by the government. This improves the budget situation of the government and allows the economy to reduce demand. Both these policies decrease inflation by reducing aggregate demand growth. Lowering AD growth will minimize inflationary pressures without triggering a recession if economic growth is rapid. If a nation had high inflation and negative growth, then it would be more unpalatable to reduce aggregate demand because reducing inflation would lead to lower production and higher unemployment. Inflation could still be decreased, but it would be even more harmful to the economy. The second one is monetary policy. Monetary policy requires the use of interest rates and other monetary instruments to control consumer spending levels and aggregate demand levels (AD). Monetary policy in particular tries to stabilize the economic cycle, holding inflation low and preventing recessions. The third one is direct control measures. Government can prefer to impose direct controls on certain prices and salaries, such as public sector pay awards. The annual increase in government sector pay may be tightly regulated or even frozen, which means a real wage decrease and regulatory regulations of the prices of certain services, such as water bills. If the price capping regime changes, this can have a short-term effect on the rate of inflation.
Unemployment.
Unemployment is term referred as labor force participant being available and willing to work but unable to find jobs. In the United Kingdom, the unemployment rate measures the number of people actively looking for a job as a percentage of the labor force. Age is an important factor in the rate of unemployment among those aged between 16 and 24. The unemployment rate was 11.4% in 2019, while the unemployment rate for older age group was below the national average. Thus, for the gender of those that are unemployed, men have consistently had higher rate of unemployment rate than women since 2000. The United Kingdom's unemployment rate in the 3 months leading up to October 2020 was 4.9%, the highest since July 2016. Prior to the arrival of the coronavirus pandemic, the United Kingdom had a relatively low unemployment rate.
Issue of unemployment. The official unemployment rate in the United Kingdom is defined as the percentage of the labor force listed as unemployed. There were 33.4 million individuals in the UK workforce and 1.56 million individuals identified as unemployed in the 3 months to February 2017. These numbers reported a 4.7% official United Kingdom unemployment rate. In the United Kingdom, the unemployment rate climbed to 4.8% in the 3 months to September 2020, above 4.5% in the previous period and 3.9% a year ago. In the aftermath of the coronavirus hit, this is the fastest jobless rate since the last quarter of 2016. A record number of redundancies, up from 181,000 to 314,000, were also seen from July to September 2020, although the job rate continued to slip to 75.3%. The total number of hours worked per week was 925 million, down 127.6 million hours from the previous year, but up a record 83.1 million hours from the previous quarter. Causes of United Kingdom unemployment. First, recession. Deficient unemployment allows cyclical demand to arise. With actual GDP, gross domestic product, falling, firms are producing lesser, and as a result, there is less demand for workers. In a recession, some firms go out of business, leading people to lose their job. Second, structural factors. Due to the fast-changing existence of the economy, there is structural unemployment. Manufacturing jobs, for instance, have been lost because the economy have been more concentrated on the service sector. Since they lack the necessary skills, some unemployed people have found it hard to get jobs in emerging high-tech industries. This is due to a shortage of expertise in the labor market that can be triggered by occupational immobilities, geographical immobilities, technological change, and structural change in the economy. Third, geographical unemployment. Unemployment in certain states and specific areas is higher, for example, north. Geographical immobilities are available, making it hard for the unemployed to move to the south, where there are more job opportunities available. Next, frictional unemployment. Because of frictional causes, there is still some unemployment. For instance, it takes longer for the unemployed to find a new job. This unemployment occurs by the time it takes people, such as graduates or people changing job, to switch between jobs. And lastly, youth unemployment. For young workers, it is the largest mostly because they lack skills or proper motivation.
Effects of unemployment.
The general effects of unemployment on individuals and society. One of the most devastating personal experiences in the working age population is unemployment that can affect the individuals itself and cause social problems. Workers will lose their job skills over a long period of unemployment, creating a loss of human resources due to the decreased production involved. Unemployment increases susceptibility to having disease, malnutrition, stress, low self-esteem, depression, and enhancing the youth's feelings of externality and helplessness. As unemployment rate rise, crime rates, especially property crime, tend to rise. Increases in the unemployment rate tend to increase the suicide rate of the country. Effects on the economy. Unemployment is a condition that can be seen developing in almost every country. Not only does it affect a person, but it also affects the country's financial and economic growth. Increased government borrowing. High unemployment will affect the tax revenue to fall because there are fewer people paying the income tax. More will have to be invested by the government on unemployment and associated compensation. The government not only provides unemployment benefits, but it would be more likely to earn housing benefits and income support for a family that has unemployment. Measures to control unemployment. During the recession, United Kingdom was able to prevent its unemployment rate from skyrocketing. Fiscal policy. To influence the rate of economic growth, fiscal policy includes adjusting the level of taxation and government expenditure. Increase in government expenditure. As United Kingdom's government expenditure keep increasing throughout the year, this will affect the reduction of unemployment rate in the country. Decrease in taxes. To reduce the unemployment rate, the government have to reduce the general burden on the taxation for the community. A reduction in all types of taxes will increase people's consumption costs. As taxes for business and corporate decrease, it will promote an increase in investment. Monetary policy. Monetary policy is also concerned with maintaining an economic growth rate that is sustainable and with keeping the unemployment rate low, lowering discount rate and interest rates. A decline in the discount rate will result in a decline in other interest rates. Currently, the United Kingdom's discount and interest rates stated by the Bank of England are 0.1% respectively. Open market operation. Through the implementation of monetary policy, central banks have several possibilities that are available with the application of monetary policy, and they have produced an effective strategy to have support to the financial scheme with liberal liquidity. Direct control measures. Direct control measures are taken to reduce the unemployment rate in the country. Training and technical education. In the country, more training and technical education should be provided by the government to help individuals who have difficulties in securing a job. Development of new land. New land can create more job openings to unemployed individuals, especially in the rural community area. Job creation in various sectors of an economy. The diversity in an economy will increase job opportunities in the country.
In a conclusion, the UK economy was suffering from a downturn because all the statistics still reflects a frail economy element. This country has successfully put a stop to the recession from becoming depression and managed to recover at a relatively high speed.